Welcome back to my Shadow and Bone Season 2 watch along. I'm up to episode 7. I believe it's the penultimate episode of the series. Oh, this Ben Barnes Mal meetup is amazing. And I think the Darkling's appearance to Mal now is like perfect because Mal was struggling with nothing to fight against and the need to surrender. And now he has someone to push back up against. And Mal is really at his best when he's fighting odds or circumstances or off doing something. We haven't gotten a chance to see him spar with words up until now. But he is like amazing at it. We maybe should have given him more time to talk than we did.
Well, then you know I have nothing to lose.
And he's like,
You have nothing to lose because you don't have anything. You're gonna die alone, and I'm gonna die in her arms.
oh, Mal, cut right to the quick. This moment between Nikolai and Mal is really nice. It's kind of showing that the two of them are friends. They're wanting the same thing, and how like both the war and maybe their loyalty to Alina has kind of brought them together for like a common higher goal, larger purpose kind of thing. This whole episode is giving me a bunch of those nice, fulfilling moments between our characters, sort of like letting them say goodbye, building things out. And I'm glad that we're using the time to do that because this story has been really like pushing and moving pieces forward and not giving us a lot of time to like breathe and have conversations. Fun gemstone fact: when someone you're romantically involved in asks you about your favorite gemstone, it's because they're trying to pick out a color for them to propose to you in. Oh my goodness, processing a part of Mal's bone and fusing it into Alina? Gross. Like, I get they're trying to spare Mal's life or whatever and still use him as an amplifier, but man, I don't want a human bone in me. I barely can tolerate the whole amplifier animal bones thing in people. Like, oh, it's just icky. I don't like it. Why is this process so icky, Lee Bardugo? Oh, I love the camaraderie between Mal and Alina and Nikolai. Oh, they've become such good friends. The show does a really good job making little moments that just connect and feel good and make me happy. All these speeches and goodbyes, it's giving me like strong Lord of the Rings, Narnia kind of vibes. I guess we really are going into the final last battle. I think Nikolai probably did the best speech he could for the crowd he was given, but it wasn't particularly moving or inspiring for me. We could have skipped that. Me trying to figure out why Matthias is on the show and why I should care about him. I guess he's supposed to be like representing like someone who's been conservatively raised and has like a lot of internal rage and conflict between what they're actually seeing in the world around them and what they have been taught. And they're trying to come to terms with like the better parts of their religion, like forgiveness, letting things go, while also dealing with the fact that their religion asks them like not to engage in steamy times and to kill Grisha and all this other crap. And it's kind of like colliding in Matthias's head and doesn't really know what to do with himself. He's kind of alone on like this island situation, so he doesn't have like any social support to help him out right now either. I suppose from that perspective, it will be interesting to see if he falls back into his religion and into like this darker, more conservative path, or if he holds strong and is looking for Nina and looking to like fit into her world when the time finally comes that he's released. But really, like, we're a long time coming to this arc. We've now got Pekka Rollins back in the picture to kind of push this thing home. I thought we were done with this cycle with Pekka Rollins. And, you know, to be honest, like, this whole arc is really tired and played out. And I don't personally care. Thank God the Darkling intervened before we could permanently disfigure Mal and then adhere his disfigurement onto Alina. Like, oh, that'd be so gross. Like, oh, trying to watch it. I'm so squeamish. I just can't do it. Woof. Thank you, Shadow Monsters. You've saved us a lot. So I've been arguing back and forth about whether or not the fold is Maresoft or whether it was just like the Darkling losing control of his power. And I think the fact that this dude can sense Maresoft and he can sense Alina's amplifiers, recognize they're near the fold, but not recognize the fold as Maresoft means that the fold itself is not Maresoft. Whatever it took to make the stag, the sea whip, and the phoenix are. For some reason, Mal can live peacefully with Maresoft in his system, or as like a living embodiment of Maresoft. And I guess the stag and the sea whip could too. And Alina seems to be fine with the stag and the sea whip embedded in her too. So maybe the Maresoft is the actual creation of the thing. So it's just the creator who's cursed and not the person who uses it. But if that's the case, doesn't that mean that this dude who uses Bagger's bones to make all these amplifiers for everyone should have like a bunch of Maresoft floating through his system because he created the amplifiers out of her? And she herself wasn't Maresoft, she was just like super strong or something. I am still trying to puzzle out the rules for Maresoft, when you create them, who suffers, what the consequences are. It's really not very clear, and I just have a feeling that this is something we're gonna have to deal with in season 3. So I'm looking for all the hints and clues now while it's like a hot topic and while the most knowledgeable people are still in the field. Because if we win this war, the Darkling's out of the picture, Bagger's out of the picture, the journals were destroyed. So what we got here is pretty much what we have to work with. Well, that showed up. Maybe we're gonna get some good sword fighting? I'm hoping so. There's been like a lot going on as far as like the war and the fold moving and all that stuff that woke Willow up from her sleep and she was like, come over here and pet me. None of it has really been worth commenting until Inej showed up. So I am so hopeful we're gonna get like 1 or 2 last really good Inej fighting scenes.
Oh, we have each other? That's everything we need?
Does Alina finally understand she doesn't have to kill Mal to use him as an amplifier? She should have known that from the very fucking beginning. She was saying that about the stag. She thought she could do it with the sea whip. Why was this not plan A from the get-go? Honest question here. The heart renderer that's with Nikolai has an amplifier in her ear. So why is her amplified power not as strong as all of the other Grisha who just have like a little bit of Bagger's bones in them? Was she just not a very strong heart renderer and she super needed that amplifier to get anything done? I'm legit confused. Best friend Joe is dead, and he sacrificed himself to keep Nikolai alive. Just as predicted, right on schedule for like a traditional young adult fantasy story. Poor Nikolai is acting his heart out right now and trying to make this mean something. We just don't know this dude. I feel like this was a poor choice just because we haven't had enough time for it to really hit us. No level of acting or sentiment is gonna hit the same way as if you killed off a semi-main or semi-regular character instead of a dude who obviously exists just to die. Oh my goodness. I get that Jenya is distressed that David has left himself behind and sacrificed himself for her life. All this screaming is gonna make his sacrifice worth nothing if you don't just like calm the fuck down and accept what's already happening. I hate it. I know it's here for dramatic appeal, it's not here for realism, but like if the point of the exercise is to make me feel something, then you've just picked shitty characters who I knew were potentially disposable and who weren't very well developed to start. It's just like a critical writing issue because the actors are giving it their all right now, but the writing isn't strong enough to have created the setup for this to be a cathartic payoff. You know, I'll say this for Kaz. He knows how to make an entrance. Well, I'm glad we got that moment where Alina and Mal proves that love conquers all and that he doesn't have to be killed and chopped up into little pieces to be an amplifier. And I'm not surprised that Ben Barton showed up like in the middle of it because we really do have to deal with him before we can destroy the fold. Otherwise, what is even the point of him in the story at this point? I don't know why Alina is so proud that she can do damage using her powers. Her whole need to do the cut and show that she's like an equal to the Darkling is really odd. I wouldn't want to be that dude's equal. I wouldn't want to be able to do what that dude can do. We already know that what he does takes him down a path that leads to his own demise and leaves him alone and miserable. If anything, you'd want a blueprint of what he did so you could do exactly not that. Even Bagger, who could also do this cut, gives us a story about how the cut basically destroyed her potential for a happy childhood and good family home. The beginning to the end of everyone's happy ending is with this particular move. And for some reason, Alina is thrilled about it. So stupid. Talk about a cliffhanger ending. Oh my god, I have to go into the next one like right now. I can't wait. This has been a great penultimate episode. I think they did a great job setting up stakes, giving us a little bit of that like emotional release, last kind of goodbye, last hurrah kind of pep talk sort of thing. What they did with General Kerrigan and the Grisha army was great and made them very formidable, which makes the victory they have eventually with Kaz showing up and all that stuff feel like earned and worthwhile. I do think the character deaths so far have been kind of pitiful and uninteresting. I cannot wait any longer to finish up this season. Really loving Shadow and Bone. So much more energetic and dynamic than the first season was. I think I enjoyed my time in the first season more, but like this building to this arc here has been so worthwhile and interesting. But talk to me, are you still watching Shadow and Bone? Have you already finished it? What did you think of it? Tell me in those comments down below. Thanks for watching, and as always, keep reading. Bye!